Good morning, everybody. We're coming to you live from inside the main build facility here at Bubba's Exotic Motorsports. I'm Tom, and we all know the Master Bubba. Sorry. And we all know the Master Bubba. Bubba, how are you doing today?
I thought that we were going to be filming with the C10 since it's just about ready to go home. Now I see you're in front of this 355 that has no front bumper. Care to explain?
By the way, ladies and gentlemen, Bub did an amazing job yesterday with his split personality. Great reviews from that show yesterday.
I thought it was
you and the
pretty
producer
good.
knocked it out. I was out on the road at an event yesterday. You couldn't go because you were handling things at the facility. I handled it up there. And you know what, Bub? I couldn't stop laughing as I was watching you live. You did a great job with the brake lines. You looked like you were fencing out there. Great job, Bub.
I felt great with it. I don't know how you guys felt out there. I know there was a lot of good feedback from that video, but I thought that it went down flawlessly. For having two personalities inside of one person, really cool. I think I handled it.
Did a great job. I got to say,
Wait, can we talk about the front bumper?
Bubba'sExoticMotorsports.com, MissOutlawBoutique.com, MSOutlawBoutique.com, TonyRienzi.com, right, Bub? In Jupiter Magazine. Right,
Still have not answered the question.
Monkeys in Paradise?
Again, look at this.
I couldn't get a vodka while I was out on the road, Bub, and the only thing I'll drink is Monkey in Paradise. And Monkey in Paradise reminds you, drink responsibly. Hey, Bub, you're killing it with this C10 over here. You've had so many minor modifications you've had to do to this vehicle to get it right. It's just been an absolute, it just shows that, and I'm not being negative, it just shows that what you buy at auctions, you better have done your research first, man.
Yeah, well, you know, a lot of people have been in that position. You know, a lot of guys out there, I'm sure there's a lot of fans, do-it-yourselfers, builders out there that have done that same thing. You go and you see something at an auction, you're sitting 25 feet plus back, you haven't really had time to analyze what you're looking into, and sometimes you never know. That number could be 10 grand, that number could be 200 when you go to these auctions. You don't know what you're buying, and it's just because somebody's standing there reading it off of a sheet of paper does not mean you're getting that exact quality. So in terms of frame off every nut and bolt restoration, that's what this truck was. Yeah, it was done, but was it done perfect? No, not at all. So the client, here again, was a pretty solid number into this truck. I think the closing cost in this truck was $37,000, $38,000, somewhere in that range.
It was $40,000.
Which is a very comfortable number on that truck. Had it of not need any work. If this were done, that would have been perfect. But it had a lot of little issues that the client wanted to update. The braking system was terrible. The performance of the truck was very sluggish at best. You know, there were a couple little pieces that needed to be done. So those are the little things that you just don't know what you're going to encounter until you literally leave there. So when you spend that money and when you're holding that paddle up, make sure you're ready to have a little bit more on standby. Don't tap yourself out completely. That's just my advice with it.
And you know what, Bub? It's funny too because you have spent the latter part of the last 2 weeks around the clock on this vehicle. I mean, you had to modify the rear. How did you do that? Did you decide to work with the rotors, or did you decide to? Because when we last talked about this vehicle 2 days ago, there were lug pattern issues.
Right. So because of the way that this was built with the wheels that were put on it, the intro wheels. I think I messed up yesterday and called them Budnick wheels. They're not. They're intro wheels. But with the way that the intro wheels were put on the truck, they were a 5-lug setup, which could have been correct had nothing else been modified on here. If this was a factory disc brake set truck, 2-wheel drive, this was originally a manual, it's all been converted, so you don't know how many types of modifications and changes were done to a quote-unquote original truck. It's not that way. So we got into it. It was definitely not a 6-lug, definitely not a 515, what it should have been. It's a 514 3/4, which was a smaller Camaro S10 style chassis and lug pattern. Smaller setup, but it was nothing that anywhere off the shelf you could buy those parts. So what you'd have to do is drill it to a 71 to 72 515 system so that it was a direct fit setup. So now whenever the client does have an issue, he can just go to any local parts store and get a disc brake rotor for 71 and 72 with that option.
And I see, Bub, you've also got the rear end all buttoned back up.
Yeah.
I know you were over in the Woodward Fabrication area yesterday making those modifications. We have to say thank you to Phil Heck and the crew out there at Woodward. Behind us is the world famous Woodward Fabrication area that everybody knows from our TV shows and stuff like that. And it is all outfitted by Phil Heck over at Woodward Fabrication, the best stuff in the world. Billy Lane uses it as well.
Yeah.
Good people. I see, Bub, you've got everything going back there. The rear end's buttoned back up on this vehicle. Axles are in. The rear brake conversion, disc brake conversion is completed. It's as clean as a factory installation.
That's the way it should be.
And you just finished doing a nice blacked out caliper on there. You finished painting that with caliper paint to hide it and make your eye go away from it and draw it out to the beauty of that wheel. It's part of the way you design and build.
Well, yeah, so I mean, little things like that that just add the smallest amount of detail. When you take these things out of the box, For any of you guys out there that are buying just a disc brake conversion kit, not a Bayer, not a Willwood, those are going to come either anodized or powder coated. But when you buy any of these factory components, whether it's through SSBC, CPP, Classic Performance, Right Stuff Detailing, which is getdiscbrakes.com, all of these companies are going to send you cast calipers. If they're a single piston, direct fit, bolt-on system, even for Mustangs, when you got the upgraded 4-piston calipers on these older vintage, they're going to come in a cast finish. They look charcoal, but they are not a cast coat iron coated. That's just the color of the material. So once you get them installed, even prior to then, you can take the time, scuff them down, mask them up, paint them so that you do have a protected coating. If you were to just leave them, especially here in South Florida, they would rust within a week.
They would.
So you want to make sure that you don't do that. We take the time, and every time we do a full disc brake install, if it's not like a Willwood or a Bayer, somebody that comes powder coated or anodized, we do a coating on them very much similar to stock, or in some sort of ways, clients want them accented. On this truck, personally, I felt with the way the wheels looked, you've got the beautiful disc brake conversion behind both front and rear wheels now, so it looks really good, but there's no reason on this bright orange paint with the polished wheels to make anything else pop any harder in terms of like orange calipers, red calipers, yellow calipers. So we went ahead and did them in a matte black finish or a satin black finish, so they just kind of hide away. That's what you want. Let your wheels speak, let your paint speak, the chrome trim. It looks a lot better.
That's the way. I had somebody tell me yesterday that you were an amazing builder, and you're just quiet. You're very low key about everything. I'm the one who pushes the ego, and you're the one who lays back and lets the build do it yourself.
Well, yeah, I mean, I like to just do a quality job. I like to do a production of what would be equivalent to, if not better than, what a general assembly line would send down the floor. And that's whether it's General Motors, Ford, Mopar, Lamborghini, Ferrari, Aston Martin. I try to take all of those things and all the skills and everything I've done in modifications and customization and everything I've done over the years, I take it all and incorporate it into one and try to make it better than that. Because I've touched a little bit of old, I've touched a little bit of new, I've put myself where engineers have been, I've put myself where designs have been, so I understand start to finish everything it takes to make that one product come together and how it would be best built.
Speaking of which, happy birthday to the owner of this vehicle. It is his vehicle today. He flew in from Toronto, Canada yesterday, landed at Fort Lauderdale International Airport, which is where I landed. We usually fly out of PBI. Whole funny story about that, but it goes along with the parallels of my life and the funny crap that goes on all the time. So, Bub, this is turning into an amazing build. You're down to the last few things. It may or may not make it out today. It is what it is. You know,
we're going for
it. I know, I get that, but you know what? It is what it is.
Yeah.
You're tired. Your hands are tired. Your back's tired.
All good.
You know, you've gone all the way around the clock with this thing to fix all kinds of other issues that were there with it. When the client gets it back, it's going to be a beautiful build.
No, it'll be not only a beautiful build, but it'll be what he wants and then some, and it will give him the 110% satisfaction and the reliability of what he was looking for. When he went to Barrett-Jackson, or when he was watching it from Canada and was raising that paddle, he was doing it with one intent. That was to buy a car. Clearly he didn't want to go through a restoration process. He'd have bought a junk box and then paid somebody to do it.
Good thought.
He wanted it to be, here, I'm buying this freaking truck right now on the spot. I want to drive it out of here and go enjoy the thing.
Didn't work out that way.
That's exactly what we've given the client now. He has a beautiful truck. He brought us a beautiful platform. The guys who did it did a great job, but was it perfect? We had to take it all the way.
Exactly.
So it was a 85, 90% build. We took it to that 100%.
Probably a 70% build, Bub.
I wasn't going to go that low.
Okay, 70%. Bub, you're doing a beautiful job.
Over here.
I'm not a dick. I'm just calling it what it is. You're the best of the best.
I'd have gone 80.
70 at best.
Okay,
Bub,
70.
you've got a beautiful Jeep. It belongs to my closest friend and a member of the Miami Marlins baseball staff management. The interior you have designed for that vehicle is stunning. I'm not going to release it. I'm going to wait until we roll it out next week. You've gotten away from the standard gray checkered type or splattered.
It was plain. It was a basic interior. This is a Jeep that is every day at the stadium, so it's in front of people that you want it to show its highest quality potential. And that goes, I mean, with anything. It doesn't matter if it was a Jeep, if it was a Lamborghini, if it was a freaking Honda. You want it to go and be the best it can possibly be. Kind of like the Army, right?
Get it.
Right, sentiment, okay. Right. So this was a basic interior. It had a stock gray cloth interior, factory in the Jeep, 2008 Jeep, so it was factory upholstery in it. No damage whatsoever to any of the upholstery, but it was just plain. So the owner of this vehicle had covers on all the seats to protect it, more because they were weatherproof covers. A lot of the time in the summer, he pulls the top off, pulls the doors off, throws on a really cool set of tube doors, and rides this thing as an open beach buggy.
As
essentially.
is the case down here in South Florida.
Right, so it's every day. So there are times where rain will come through and it'll hit it. Well, most of the stuff in Jeeps in today's world is waterproof, except for the way the upholstery was built. So one of the things we had done was not only upgrade him to all marine grade quality materials in the thread, in the foaming, in the sealants of it, in the bag protectants on the seats, everything about it is upgraded to now not require crap seat covers. But it can now just, you know, if it gets rain in it, who cares? It gets rain in it, wash it out, you're done. Move on to the next piece. But we've taken that plain, basic Jeep design, since we've done a lot of external modifications, the suspension lift, wheels and tires, the way it's been coated, all of the looks of this thing, the bumpers. It's really aggressive, it's really tough looking, so we wanted to theme that interior to now match that body.
Right on, Bubba. It looks beautiful. I'll be bringing that to you next week, ladies and gentlemen, right here on Doing It Bubba Style. Make sure you check out all the great stuff we're doing at BubbasExoticMotorsports.com. Bubba, let's update everybody on the pitcher who's the Major League Baseball pitcher's vehicle you're finishing now. And that Ford F-150 with the Kevlar texture is looking really good. They finally got the right hood in here for you just a couple days ago. You immediately sent it into the paint shop and had that done and bolted back on that vehicle immediately. We're just waiting for Rigid Lighting now to bring their stuff.
Man, I took a nap waiting for them on hold the other day.
I'll tell you what. There at Rigid, man.
I'm telling you, man.
But that truck looks...
It's tough, dude. This freaking, hey, if this client doesn't like it, I'm throwing it in at that point.
The problem is everybody will now start copying what you've done. There's a reason it's not on the set right now. I'm not ready for the world to see it.
No, this truck is bad as it gets. This thing is, it's bold, it's wide, it's tall, it's black, it's thick, why do I sound like I'm talking about something else?
It's muscular, it's masculine.
You're talking about something else too, aren't you?
Right. How about that?
So this thing it's serious, man. It is all matte black. There were literally two color tones on this truck, technically three. There's a gloss black finish on some of the accent pieces, which is consisted of base coat paint and clear coat, just like any mass production would do. Those are small accenting pieces. Then there is matte black accenting pieces in terms of like certain grill areas, a little bit on the wheels, so that had that dark with, you know, that kind of matte finish, but then it also had a gloss finish. So those two tones work really well together. They are huge in the industry right now. And then we did the entire truck of this thing in a matte black Kevlar coating. The texture of this thing is like 80 grit sandpaper when you run your hand down the side. It's aggressive, it's thick, it's just the way that the whole truck complements itself. The fifth tire in the bed with looking like a pre-runner truck that should be out in the deserts out west. It's insane the way it looks.
It's crazy, man.
Yeah,
It looks
really
beautiful.
cool.
By the way, Bob, don't know if you know, but Max from Monkey in Paradise and CEO of Cars and Coffee, his daughter was involved in an accident up in Jacksonville, Florida yesterday while I was on the road. We want to wish her the very best in recovery. I know there's a little bit of challenge going on right there in the recovery process.
Every day, man.
Everybody keep people in your thoughts and prayers as you move through your day. It's especially hard when it hits home with a family member like Max. He's very special to us. We love him to death. We send our thoughts and prayers out to his daughter. She's going through this somewhat challenging recovery. Everything's going to be fine, I can promise you guys. Bub, it's not just the 68 C10s. It's not just the 2013 F-150s. It's the 355 Spiders as well. Let's talk a little bit about what you're going on here. You and Vinny have been working on this project as well.
Yeah, man. So just to start off, so this is a
car
355
that I drove to start off. Now, there are missing pieces on this car.
I was honestly going to offer this guy cash on the spot for this car. This is my favorite body style Ferrari, the 355 series. Personally, I would like it in either a Targa, which would be like the center portion of the roof removes, or full out coupe, the hardtop version. Those things look like animals when they're lower down the right aggressive wheel and tire stance. They look sick. Like these things belong on the track, not the street. I'd have it on the street for sure. I was going to offer this guy cash until you drove the car. Now I'm not. Sorry.
It still doesn't have a Carfax. Nobody knew what happened.
I knew exactly what happened. I hate to say it.
Did you see it when I pulled in?
Yeah. Reverse, typically in Ferraris, is not where first is. He has a struggle with that. Even though you have to still push down to get to it, he still feels like that's just some racy first gear for some reason.
But it works.
It's not.
So ladies and gentlemen, we're now fixing the front bumper, which isn't cheap to do on these things.
No, and you're not getting it anywhere. Unless you want to call Ferrari and get it for like 12, 17,000, in that range.
I think the monkey from Monkey in Paradise was actually the driver of the vehicle.
Hey, he's standing next to the door, must have been him. Don't blame that guy. You don't blame him. You did it.
I did it. I did it. But these
So on
things
top
happen.
of the front bumper assembly getting done, this one actually had a very common problem with the convertible top assembly in the way that the components and the mechanism stretch just from wear and tear over time, opening, closing, doing it at speed, doing it not sitting still. A lot of guys tempt that fate all the time, trying to go 20 and 30 miles an hour and pull the e-brake up one click to trick it and then freaking put the top down. Let me tell you, dude, if your crap flies away like a kite, Mary Poppins, bro, it's on you. It's on you.
I've never had that happen before.
You've had that happen.
But you fixed the frame.
I did.
You got the frame?
Yours was so bad we had to buy a new frame.
I did.
This frame we were able to take apart. Vinny and I took it apart yesterday afternoon, went through all the components on it, made sure everything was gapped exactly where it should be, literally to a point where the tolerances on these things are very close. I mean, there's literally arms that pass by other arms that have to be literally within a 1/16 of an inch before they rub or scrub. These things were hanging up everywhere, binding all over the place. It was nothing more than just opening and closing, wear and tear, an oval slot, an oblong slot, where the actual bushing just runs through it as a guide, essentially. Nothing more than that, was completely wallowed out, just stretched open from that being the case. Either somebody manually pushing down on the top, pulling up on the top, something caused that to bend on top of its natural wear and tear. This is a 95, so that's what, 22 years old?
22 years old, yeah.
That's a pretty good amount of time opening and closing this car, even though it's only 30,000 miles. If they open and close that top every time, that's a lot of opening and
Well,
closing.
not to mention, Bub, just the technology that went into those cars, even in
At that
95,
time,
it was
pretty
very
freaking
elaborate,
good.
man.
I mean, literally to a point where there are actual potentiometers in the seats that know when the seats are in what position so that the top can't actuate before the seats are in a certain position with the e-brake up and the freaking windows going down and the top going down, the left turn signal on, and then you have to flash your high beams 3 times. Man.
You have to put your left foot in, your right foot out.
Yeah, when you put the left foot in, it somehow slips off the clutch and then
This is a perfect example of that.
right here.
But you've already got it in the body shop next door.
Yeah, it's done. So now, well, I don't know, I think Vinny fell asleep somewhere. He wasn't. Vinny?
Yeah, Vinny
Vinny?
was asleep.
Right here. Vinny?
He's sleeping offset over here.
He's taking a nap. Vinny was putting the top on here. I don't know what happened. He took a break for a few minutes. Once his top goes on, it's super, super snug, man. It looks really good. I think the client's going to be really happy with this ride.
I
once he
think
gets
so.
it
We're
back.
gonna have to just get it detailed, cleaned
Yeah.
up real nice and get it on out of the
Yep.
road, you know?
That's it.
So Bob, we're gonna let you jump back into this thing
We have
over
a
here.
lot to do
I know
in an
you've got
hour.
a lot to do over here. I'm glad to be back with you guys. I apologize for being out yesterday. The road calls sometimes, it's not fun when I'm not out there with Bub on the road, but it's always nice to get back to you. It's always nice to see what you're doing, Bub, while I'm away. It's funny, when I was watching yesterday in the background, I saw everybody else sleeping as well. I saw Mike, he had like this Mexican sombrero on.
Yeah, with
and there
like
was a
12
bottle of
Coronas
tequila
next to him.
Yeah, tequila and Coronas, and he was like, and his knees were pulled up, and he was slunched over in the corner, and he was like, and I don't know if you guys missed that, go back to Bubba'sExoticMotorsports.com and watch yesterday's issue. You'll see him sitting over there, and he had like one of these Spanish mustaches glued to his face. He got it party.
Or like the guy from Sunfest from TonyRienzi.com, and he's out, man. If you go out and look at his Facebook page, when he was walking downtown West Palm the other night, he was just taking a beautiful stroll. He always does great motivational videos. I mean,
TonyRienzi.com.
30-second blurbs, just a quick little hit of, hey, what's going on? This is what's cool. This is what's this, blah, blah, blah. Just a little something to make everybody bumped up and feel the hype. As he's walking, taking a video, selfie status, as he's walking, he's talking about how Sunfest was great. It was the best week of his life, 2017. And then he says,
You know
have
why?
to control,
Because he was with us, and he
you have to control the monkey in paradise, and you have to control everything in your life, or else you're going to look like this guy. And he turns around and pans down. There's a guy, no shirt on the floor. Done. In the middle of the sidewalk in downtown West Palm.
Tony's
Love
killing it, man. He's killing it. By the way, hello to Scott Claypool out there. Scott called Tony, and he's got that SRT Jeep up for
That's right.
sale. I found out more about that last night.
That's a pretty sick truck too, dude. Pretty freaking sick.
It's a sick ride, man.
Yeah.
I think I need to drive that one.
No.
That
no.
one's really hot,
No,
man.
not at all.
No?
Scott, do not bring it by for him to drive. I've already driven it. I already know what we're working with here, so we just need pictures and go.
TonyRienzi.com. Also, you need to look at the Land Cruiser that you're finishing up. That's getting
Really
ready
cool.
to go on TonyRienzi.com as well.
Yep, really
It's-
cool.
It's really, really neat. He will be back in studio with us this Saturday to talk more about
That's right.
buying a car, exotic cars, and how to buy
And
cars.
Monkey in Paradise, the premium social volume.
Big announcement.
Huge announcement this Saturday, so make sure you guys stay tuned for our podcast that we do every Saturday morning, 9 a.m. to 10 a.m. I was going to say 10 p.m. There's no way I'm doing it that long, dude. That's a 13-hour show. Forget that.
Yep.
So stay tuned for that announcement. It's going to be really cool. big stuff coming from Monkey in Paradise.
Yeah, I agree.
Pretty much just going to take over the world. That's it.
It's going to take over the world.
That's it.
Bub, we're going to let you jump back into this C10 over here. It's been a long run the last couple of weeks, but you're bringing it down the home stretch, and it's always good to see you finish up another project.
Yep,
here.
another one going home.
We're going out on tomorrow's Friday. It'll be a fun day. We're going to get the shop all cleaned back up again and get ready for Monday, and we'll come to you live Saturday with the #1 rated internationally syndicated motorsports podcast in the world, right here from Bubba's Exotic Motorsports, just as this is the #1 daily live stream motorsports show.
Jumbie Bay tonight, food trucks tomorrow night.
Jumbie Bay, no tonight.
Okay, well, I'm going, sorry.
No tonight. Food trucks definitely tomorrow night. Two
Can't
nights
go.
back to
I'm
back
not
at
going
Jumbie
tomorrow.
Bay for me, ladies and gentlemen. Not good.
I'm not going tomorrow.
I can come sit at my desk and sleep all day tomorrow if you want.
Typically what you do every day. Ask anyone that calls us. We do nothing here.
That's not, oh yeah, half the world will tell you we do nothing.
They
here.
think we just hang out.
That's exactly right.
We just come and hang out all day long.
You can't say I sleep at my desk. Proof of it's right here. I'm out driving.
Every car here is proof. All right, I gotta go, man. Stay tuned till tomorrow's episode. Just
Till tomorrow, Bub.
Keep on doing it Bubba style.
Ladies and gentlemen, make sure you reach out today to touch somebody's life in a very positive manner. Open the door for an elderly person if you have to. Shoe somebody who's got holes in their shoes. Feed somebody who's hungry. Make sure you do it Bubba style. Do people right, and it'll come back to you all the time. Just remember, karma's a bitch. Till tomorrow, keep on doing it Bubba style. Vinny, let's get back on this top over here, shall we?